Hell Is Us was originally revealed by Nacon and Rogue Factor in 2022, initially slated for release in 2023. Nacon described it as an exciting new project from creative director Jacques-Belletête, best known for his work on Deus Ex Human Revolution, Mankind Divided, and most recently Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Summer 25 and we finally have a demo, a confirmed release date September 4th, and confirmation that Hell Is Us has officially gone gold. So after all this time, what's the game actually like? Hell Is Us is atmospheric, it's cinematic, it's a third-person action-adventure set in a semi-open world. According to Jacques-Belletête, the goal of Hell Is Us is to bring back true adventure and exploration. Ditches the map, detailed quest logs, waypoints, dropping you in a war-torn unknown region of Earth, haunted by ancient horrors. So, does it succeed? In this video, I'll walk you through the full demo, touching on the story, the mechanics, and some of my favorite moments. Let's get into it. So the game opens with a cinematic, an interrogation scene that sets the tone and introduces our character and his motivations. The interrogator is definitely inspired by Judge Holden from Blood Meridian. I'm sure someone on the dev team was like, let's take this intimidating ass character and put him in right at the beginning. You play as Remy Latam, voiced by Elias Toufexis, a Canadian soldier returning to his birthplace, the fictional region of Hadia.
You were smuggled out of Hadia at age 5, grew up in the foster care system, and dabbled in criminal activities. You managed to pull yourself together and become a decorated soldier. After decades of trying to get back into Hadia, well, you decided to take matters into your own hands.
So during the interrogation, Remy comes clean that his father was a blacksmith in a town called Jova, and his mother gave him a necklace, put him on the back of a truck, told him never to return. From here, we transition into the restricted zone of Hadia, a land torn by civil war and haunted by supernatural phenomena. Gameplay begins in Senedra Forest, and as the creative director described, there's no map, no waypoints, no UI clutter. From the jump, you're expected to read the environment and explore at your own pace. As one of the game's core design choices, I love it. So Remy clearly snuck himself into the region, and the mood here in this forest reminded me a lot of Annihilation. It's eerie, it's quiet, it's foreboding, and almost immediately you'll come across inscriptions that you can't read and objects that you don't yet understand. The region feels otherworldly. Early on, you meet an old farmer named Ernest Cadell. He offers dialogue options like background on the region, insight into the Civil War, and gives you your first real objective. You're heading to Jova, the town where your father once lived and worked, and to get there you need to find a vehicle.
They parked their APC just beyond the woods, to the north. Once in the woods, follow the wind chimes. They will lead the way through.
Here comes the first real example of the environmental guidance. Ernest tells you to follow the wind chimes hanging from the trees. They'll lead you through the forest and eventually to the ruins where the vehicle was last seen. He also mentions a military group that he sees around the region, but we'll get to that later. While the game hints at civil war and deep ideological conflict, the enemies you actually face are something else entirely. Supernatural entities known as Hollow-Walkers. They're immune to bullets, so you'll have to rely on special weapons called limbic weapons to survive. On their own, Hollow-Walkers aren't especially difficult, but some are tethered to a floating orb via an umbilical cord, and that thing is far more aggressive. It shifts forms mid-combat, changing its attack style, putting real pressure on your timing. It's a strange and memorable enemy design. Throughout the demo, I found 2 melee weapons, a sword and twin axes. Each one levels up the more you use it. Personally, I went with the twin axes, got them up to level 3. I also found glyphs, items that seem to be upgrades for your weapons. However, for the demo, I was not able to attach them or upgrade anything, so I couldn't comment on how those work. Combat feels solid, but familiar. Light and heavy attacks, charge strikes, dodging, blocking, parrying, which, when timed right, lets you unleash a devastating counter. There's also a healing pulse mechanic, where dealing damage can restore health when timed correctly. It reminded me of the key pulse system from Neo 2. There's definitely some Souls-like DNA here. There are also Skyrim-style environmental puzzles. One required me to align symbols on a sealed door by locating 3 texts written like religious scripture. The text had a hint that led to a logo, and when put in the correct order, the door opened. It wasn't difficult, but satisfying to solve. The demo had other puzzles like secret treasures, and I'm sure I've missed a few secrets too. Some puzzles clearly hint at a deeper discovery for the full game. The tower is one such location. You also have a drone companion. In the demo, it can distract enemies, it can scan ancient ruins to translate text you couldn't read earlier, and I assume the drone will gain more abilities in the full game. The world of Hell Is Us seems to have a rich lore. The atmosphere is both beautiful and unsettling, and at the heart of the conflict are 2 opposing factions, the Sabinians and the Palamists, and that feud spans generations.
I grew up hating Sabs, without question. My pap and my dad hated them. That was enough reason for me. Now, I damn well know why I despise the bastards. I'd be at the front if I were any younger. I'd show the Sabs as much mercy as they did my boys. I've always seen we Palamists as creatures of habit. Like most of us, I hold my God and traditions close to my heart. We are humble and modest and tend to help our neighbors, so long as they're Palamists. We love gatherings, especially during the week of peace.
I wonder how deep they're going to play these 2 factions against each other in the full game. Clearly something more supernatural is going on. These hollow walkers, the sealed runes, the strange technologies, the alien-like language. The Civil War is just one layer of a much larger mystery. You also encounter a paramilitary group. They're well-equipped, they're secretive, and clearly not from the region. They don't seem to care about the feud between the 2 factions.
They're guinea pigs. Who gives a shit? Rats in a maze, man. Rats in a maze.
Their motives aren't fully explained, but they help you get into the ruins, and they seem to be knowledgeable about the Hollow Walkers. Without them, you wouldn't even have the tools required to fight the creatures. There are also plenty of notes, letters, journal entries, side objectives scattered across the map, all of which flesh out the region's history, lore, and can reward you with items or gear if you take the time to find the secrets. The demo ends as you approach Akasa Marshes, which I assume is the next major region. The final scenes are haunting, a pit filled with bodies, echoing the 2022 teaser trailer, with a grieving man mourning his wife and daughter. In my opinion, Hell Is Us' biggest strengths are exploration and atmosphere. It's the blend of secrets, mystery, brutality that do it for me. I'm looking forward to exploring more regions, piecing together the larger puzzle of Hadia, coming back to what I thought was once completed, and finding new secrets to unlock. As of right now, the combat is serviceable, but I'd like to see more weapons, deeper mechanics, impactful glyph upgrades to your weapons, and potentially other gear that keeps the fights fresh. I'm also hoping for a wider variety of enemies. Boss fights too would go a long way. I'd like to see how they handle character progression as well. It's always a gamble to predict how a game will land. If Hell Is Us keeps the world compelling, rewards curiosity, and evolves its core systems, it could really stand out. If this sounds like your type of game, definitely keep an eye out for this one. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more deep dives and cinematic long plays. Take care.